Video games? Pro wrestling. If you've been made fun of for it, we're probably going to talk about it.
Get those words! Nerd!
You're listening to Nerd Radio.
Oh, it's been a while since I did this. Welcome, everyone, to Nerd Radio, wherever you get your podcast as part of the BPod Studios Network, and, of course, all over your social media at Nerd Radio 101. I'm your host, Chuck Bean, and I am joined by my fellow co-host, James.
Hello.
And Mr. Al Beck.
I was sitting here, I was ready to see which one you threw it to first.
Yeah, it's always a kind of a roll of the dice.
I don't think you know until the name actually comes out of your mouth.
I don't know anything that I'm doing. Even now, I got no idea.
Like, you could make direct eye contact with me, with my co-host, James.
I'm gonna make I'll make a point to do that at some point, just to screw with you. So we're here to talk about everything that's happening in the world of nerds, and this week was kind of the easiest show that I've had to prep for because we had a bit of a hiatus.
We did,
A month's worth of stuff to talk about.
I know. Yeah, it's been about 3 weeks since we talked, and I'll be upfront about it. I tested positive for COVID-19 and decided I wasn't going to come into the studio and spread it around. So we just decided, I can't leave it up to these two.
Yeah. Well, we all learned that lesson already.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So
we decided we would take a couple weeks off until I was healthy and better, and here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, we like a free Skype pipe, so we don't want to clog it up with anything. So when you're out,
yeah,
because we could have easily. I mean, Chad could have come in here,
sure,
filled in for you, and could have been a great podcast.
You think Chad's going to do the prep? And Chad's going to look up stuff for us to talk about?
No.
Exactly.
I'm very replaceable.
I would disagree.
But so we've got plenty of stuff to talk about. So let's start.
I will say that, like, the last show we did that bit about, like, I'll never show up to the show if I don't answer my phone or whatever, like something of that nature.
Yep.
And the very next week, you're like, "Ooh, I can't come in." And then we were off for 3 weeks. I just stopped answering my phone.
We had to renegotiate a contract for Al Beck so that he would be a little happier to be here.
I did triple what I'm making from doing these episodes, though.
Yeah,
but 3 times 0 is still zero.
Still,
I guess I don't need the number of your agent then.
No. I mean, if you could triple it too, but it's still going to be 0.
Yeah.
So let's start with 3 weeks ago. The weekend that I went down was the weekend that we got the Justice League Snyder Cut, the 4-hour version of the Justice League movie.
Well, can we also rename the weekend I went down as the Nightcrawler?
I'm glad Al, but I didn't touch it. He's like,
you let him.
The weekend it went down. I'm like, oh, sounds like something sexual happened.
Yeah, so Nightcrawler weekend.
Nightcrawler weekend is when this Justice League Snyder Cut came out, which was perfect for me because I didn't feel like doing much other than laying in bed and watching TV for a week and a half. So I had plenty of time to check it out. What did you guys think? Did you check it out? Did you like it? Did you hate it?
I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed seeing the characters that you didn't see in the theatrical release of Justice League.
Yep.
It was just too long. I don't think it needed to be 4 hours.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the characters that he did, and I enjoyed the way he told the story a little bit more than the theatrical release.
Okay.
Personally. I liked being able to see Martian Manhunter, whether or not it was weird spots for him to appear or whatever.
Sure.
But I liked seeing more of Cyborg as well.
I did enjoy that they fleshed out the Cyborg character. He got that, the cool backstory. They had the football scene that was really cool, and the way he discovered his powers was neat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought there was a lot more cool stuff, and I'm kind of bummed that they didn't let the Zack Snyder cut, so to speak, go through. I mean, technically he was dealing with some family drama or whatever. He had to step away from the project. So it's unfortunate that had to happen because I think I would have enjoyed the movie, the Snyder cut version, but reduced for theatrical release.
Right.
I would have enjoyed better, and I think I would be more hype to see more to come from the Snyder universe, so to speak.
I think it really speaks to the fact that and this is what 4 years ago, 5 years ago, that they set that date of hey, this is going to come out on this day, and then instead of pushing it back like they did for, say COVID last year, they were like, no, we got to move heaven and earth to make sure this movie comes out. And It's better to let it be done when it's done than it is to just push something out.
Yeah.
At a little too early.
You got to get the horse balls right.
That's true. It's a Red Dead Redemption callback there.
Yeah.
Al, have you sat through all 4 hours of it yet?
I haven't sat through 4 minutes of it.
No?
Yet. No. Which, I mean, I think we all saw that coming.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The real tragic tale I have, though, is that I was determined to have watched Godzilla vs. Kong.
Oh, yeah?
For the next podcast that we did. And I did some of the prep work, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I still didn't watch the new stupid movie.
So what kind of prep work did you do?
Watching the other movies that it went with.
The other Godzilla movies?
And the Kong movie.
Yeah.
So, because like,
my God, you went for a deep dive to get the backstory.
Okay,
just to watch two giant monsters fight.
It is.
You don't have to do that much research, Al.
Well established.
You turn on your HBO Max, you watch the two giant monsters fight.
I am a completionist. I cannot start in the middle of a story.
My goodness, how in the world? Where did this King Kong come from?
And this is
Skull Island,
giant monkey.
I gotta learn more about this giant.
Oh, and that's the funny thing too is like I started. I mean, are we gonna get into Godzilla now? Because I can always circle back to this.
No, we can.
I didn't watch Justice League, and you guys both kind of get. Did you give your opinion on it? I don't.
Not really,
remember.
but we can circle back. It's fine.
I'm just hijacking this whole thing. So I started the new one, Godzilla vs. Kong, like 3 different times, and James had watched it and made a comment to me that it was directly related in some way to the prior one, the King of Monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were still linked. You know? I didn't realize.
Right. You thought it was just a whole new.
I thought it was just a whole new Godzilla movie, but now we're going to include King Kong and they're going to fight.
Yeah.
So then I was like, so I started it and I was like, wait, James said it's connected. And again, I'm a completionist. So I was like, I got to watch King of Monsters
Even
first.
if it's one little plot point, you got to know.
Yeah. So then I start King of Monsters and it starts off with like rubble and some, grown man's crying or something. And then it's like, this happened in 2014. I was like, man, it seems like we're right in the middle of something already.
I feel like you can.
And I'm watching it for a little bit. I was like, I wonder. There was like a Godzilla reboot movie a little while ago, and I pulled it up on IMDb, and sure enough, that came out in 2014. So I was like, I guess I got to watch that movie first. So I went and watched that, got all the way through it.
That's the one with Bryan Cranston?
Yes.
Okay.
So I get all the way through that, and then I watch King of Monsters, which comes after that. And then I started once again Godzilla versus Kong.
Right.
And I was just like, didn't they do a King Kong movie like post Peter Jackson?
Right.
And I look it up, and sure enough, it's Kong Skull Island. And so I had to watch that. And then I got through that movie, and I started Godzilla versus Kong, and I went, and I stopped, and I was like, you know what? All 3 of those movies fucking sucked.
Oh, my God.
Like, they sucked.
No.
And I sat through all 3 of them just to get to this moment. This movie's not going to be any better. And I might still watch it, but I shut it off because I just didn't have it in me to watch a 4th monster movie that was not going to be good.
Kyle is heartbroken right now because he loves his giant monster movies. He's heartbroken to hear that you couldn't watch the new one and that you didn't like the other 3.
They're stupid. They're terrible movies.
You were looking for motivation. It's big monkey or giant lizard destroys stuff. That's the motivation.
I hate feelings.
So essentially, you pretty much just went back and watched all that stuff just to learn why 11 from Stranger Things is going to be in Kong versus Godzilla, or King Kong versus whatever the name.
I guess, yeah. Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
I think.
Like you could have given him a 1-sentence.
Yeah.
This is why. This is what you need to know walking in.
She's the daughter of a scientist who's studying Godzilla. That's why she's in the movie, Al.
And he could have just watched it, but he didn't.
I can't do. I have to. I'm a completionist. Can't do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're bad. They're just real bad. Those movies.
I haven't watched Godzilla vs. Kong yet for technical difficulty reasons, which I'll tell you guys about off mic. But I did see that you sent me in the prep work that set a record of $48.5 million for the debut of Godzilla vs. Kong.
Is it plays? Because I gave him 3. Without, I started it 3 times.
It's made $48.5 million in the 5 days since it opened, and audiences are giving it a cinema score of 85%. It's got 76% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes as well. according to this. So I don't know. Giant monster movies are kind of fun. I like it.
How did you feel about Batman versus Superman?
Oh, Justice League?
No, how much did you feel about the movie Batman versus Superman?
Nah.
You'll feel the same way about Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah. Okay. At least, so we're going to find out that they both have a mother named Martha is what you're speaking?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I would say kind of, but I felt like when I was watching Godzilla versus Kong and the movie was over, I was like, I feel like I just saw that same exact movie.
Yeah.
With the Batman and Superman a couple of years ago. Weird.
Does Godzilla ask him if he bleeds?
No, the Godzilla doesn't do much talking.
Do you bleed? You
but
will.
they do. I don't know. They might maybe know some sign language or something. They have some kind of communications between the two of them. You're like, oh, didn't see that coming.
I'm sure you said sign language, and I'm sure if Kong flipped off Godzilla, you'd have said,
"Oh, dude,
right
that was
front.
I would have got my camera. I'm gonna go back and record that.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a new
put that
GIF
right up front. If something
go.
that fun had
we'll
happened.
talk about that. But yeah, I mean the story behind the movie. I'm sorry because I don't want to be super too kind to the movie. I thought the movie was enjoyable. I liked the fights between Godzilla and King Kong. That was fun. The rest of the movie, there's no point of even it being in there.
It's almost like the Transformers movies, is from what I've understood, is that they always have to put a lot of people in there and a lot of humans so that they can put a story around these giant things fighting.
And stars to get people to try to tune in because they don't want to just watch CGI monsters.
Yeah, and people all the time come out of those movies going there's too much people. I just want to see the big monsters beating each other up. There's too much people.
The story, the plot, it's all, what? Huh?
When do we get back to the giant lizard?
And also, they got a real issue with size between Godzilla and King Kong. I don't know why I'm so hung up on sizes, okay? Because from what I recall, Godzilla would sit on the Empire State Building. He was so big. She was so big, she could sit on the Empire State Building.
Right. He'd climb
King Kong climbs it.
Yeah.
How is that a fair fight?
It doesn't. No, it doesn't.
That's
sound
like Chuck Bean going into the ring against Mike Tyson.
That's true.
In a boxing fight, you know. It's the only thing I can find in terms of a comparison.
Were the sizes comparable in the movie that you watched?
Well, I feel like the sizes always change too, because at one point both of them are on a giant battleship.
But were
a battleship can stay afloat with two giant monsters on them?
It should be like a roller skate.
Yeah. Again, that's like.
In the movie, what were they roughly the same size though?
Yes.
So they
were.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like there was times where one always seemed bigger than
if you had watched Kong Skull Island, you would learn that King Kong continues to grow.
Oh, okay. But can he change his size whenever he wants? Like it's some sort of X-Men ability.
You should have done your homework, sir.
I guess so. I guess I should have.
See, it was all worth it. You got to comic book guy James on King Kong. It was worth watching 3 monster movies you didn't enjoy.
I still don't see King Kong growing to that size.
Here's my I will say, and for Kyle, most of my bitterness is directed at. I made the mistake of watching three movies.
It's your own fault.
Yeah,
similar plots
right in a row.
Yeah,
because there's nothing wrong with a giant nuclear lizard taking the crap out of Tokyo. That's pretty cool.
But an entire afternoon of 6 hours of giant lizard, and you're like, I think I've seen enough.
Yeah, and the movies are too long for what they are.
Right.
Yeah. Just what are you doing?
Well, speaking of too long for what it is, I also we talked a couple.
Keep
weeks
it in your
ago.
pants, Chuck.
I thought he was going to talk about my penis.
Yeah, well,
we did see. Long.
Valiant Summer in the chat said confirmed James is a movie monster size queen.
I am 100%. I want size to be. I want it to be authentic.
Right. But when the Justice League movie came out, we talked about the last time we had a Nerd Radio. I was kind of figuring out, do I want to watch the original first and then the Snyder cut?
To remind
Snyder,
you,
and then the original. Seeing as I had the time on my hands and nothing better to do, I did watch the Snyder cut and then watch the Joss Whedon cut of Justice League, and it made me appreciate the old one more. It didn't make it better, but seeing back to back what was taken out and what was included. I do like you were saying, the cyborg stuff. I do like the scene with the Flash where he's applying to walk dogs, and that's a neat scene to establish him. There was neat stuff, but I agree that it was too long. We had to take 3 sittings to watch it.
Well, the one scene they could have cut out was when the lady starts singing, like Aquaman's going back into the ocean. And a lady sings, and some creepo goes up and smells his underwear. Why is there a boxer sniffer involved?
That was the thing too, is that every time Wonder Woman shows up,
you trying to tell me you wouldn't have sniffed Jason Momoa's boxers? If
it's a different story, Al. I'm not part of the movie. I'm just a real life weirdo. This was a story in a movie that you didn't need that scene. It has nothing to do with the Justice League. Now, I mean, if down the line in the Snyderverse he planned on this woman who sniffed Jason Momoa's boxers that you're going to become part of the Legion of Doom, okay, then it would make sense. I understand. She's the evil part of the Legion of Doom now. But, like, why did you saw a lady go up there and just sniff Aquaman's underwear?
The evil boxer sniffer.
They call her Boxer Brief.
Well, some old lady's, like, singing opera. And I'm like, what is happening?
I was annoyed that every time Wonder Woman shows up, the chorus of Amazon is like, come on.
It took me, like, 4 times before I realized that, too. I'm like,
yeah.
Is every time she comes on screen, do they have somebody going, oh?
Every time.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if that happened to me every time I walked into the room. Someone's
it's
like,
her entrance theme.
You know? But
She's like a wrestler, and it's her entrance theme.
We can't all be Robbie.
And I was one of the people that was immediately annoyed with how much slow motion there is in the Snyder cut of the movie.
Yeah, there is quite a bit of slow motion.
I looked it up a week later, and somebody on IGN had actually taken a stopwatch to it. 10 minutes.
Wow.
10 full minutes of slow motion in this 4-hour movie.
So if you just made that regular time, the movie would have been like, wow, 10 minutes of slow motion, do some would have been like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
You could have got it. It's one thing when the Flash is running really fast, and who runs like that even now?
Oh yeah.
My God.
I will say that whoever put a stopwatch to that thing better not have complained about it being too long, because you have nothing but time on your hands.
Literally, they got a stopwatch in there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you know what? If you wanted more Justice League, you got more of what you wanted. But I could do without any.
And also, I didn't realize it was pretty much the same story.
Yeah.
Like as I'm watching it, I'm like, it's the same story, just different.
Yeah.
Like same things happen, but then you get other things that I'm like, oh, it's the same exact thing, except there's not a bunch of people being saved. It's just
you get to see Darkseid. They took a couple of plot points out of the original cut of the movie.
And changed the Steppenwolf guy to look whatever they made him look like.
He did look better.
So.
The armor that kind of
I thought his armor was sweet.
Yeah, he did look, and I didn't realize how much of a change it was until I went back and watched the first one. I was like, oh, geez, he looks garbage in the first one.
I didn't remember who the villain was in the first in the theatrical cut. We're watching the movie. I'm like, oh, this is a new bad guy, huh? My fiance's like, no,
it's the same
dude.
Like,
are you sure? She's like, yeah. And then I realized I was getting Batman versus Superman confused with Justice League and all this stuff, because I'm like, when are they going to fight the giant spider? And she's like, well, they don't. There's not a giant spider they fight. There's a giant spider involved, but it's not a fight. I'm like, I'm going to shut up and just watch the movie.
Yeah. Amy was annoyed, too, that they don't actually say Steppenwolf's name until you've been watching it for like an hour and a half.
Oh,
you've seen it. You've seen him in like 3 different scenes, and nobody knows. He's just a villain. He's just a giant villain, and then they say who he is. Once again, if you like, if you were looking for,
well, you should know if he sang his hits like Magic Carpet Ride.
Exactly. Born to be Wild. Yeah. Something like that.
Oh, they do Born to be Wild too, huh? Just remember, beautiful dreamer. Boom, 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 boom.
And looking forward in the next week or two, we got a Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah, get my money's worth on HBO Max these couple months.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Mortal Kombat guy. I still don't get how they're going to turn it into a.
That was my question: is are you guys like excited for Mortal Kombat movie? Because I'm very Mortal Kombat is not within my wheelhouse of.
I'm lukewarm about it. I'll watch it because I know it's going to get me my $14.99's worth for the month of April.
Sure,
this is really the only zone. I think I turn on HBO Max once to watch a movie a month, and then I'm like, okay, got my $15 worth and. Go on to other stuff that it's going to bore me.
It is cool that they've decided, with the fact that you can't go to theaters as frequently and as easily as you can to like put this stuff on HBO Max. It's definitely a better plan than what Disney has done with their stuff, because they're saying that they're going to put Black Widow on the service, and it's probably going to be like that last Disney movie they put it where it's like you can rent it for $30 and like no, nobody's going to do that.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean that. Both plans are getting the movie out there instead of just continuing to push it back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the Disney plan is meant more for their business model and the people they pay, and then the Warner Brothers one, because we talked about this when they first made that announcement, and all the actors were pissed.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the contracts come with portions of box office
sales percentages. Yep.
But it's like, and I get both sides of it. I mean, it's a really cool thing for us And as like a PR move for Warner Brothers, it's like they don't care about us, but it kind of seems like they do because like, we want you to stay entertained during this difficult time, you know?
Right, exactly.
But I can also see how it cuts into, you know, I get both sides of it, but they had to like come back out and be like, just chill out. It's like just this year. Like we're not doing this forever.
Yeah, this isn't forever. This isn't how it works now.
You know, like, we didn't plan on COVID happening either. Like, everyone is struggling. That includes you.
All right, well, let's take a break. We've been talking for almost 20 minutes here, and we need to take a break.
Really? It felt like 45.
For podcast reasons.
It's like
for
Snyder Cut.
Our ads. Yeah, exactly. It's the Snyder Cut of Nerd Radio. We're coming back. I got some video game
stuff. Bean cut.
I got some video game stuff to talk about, and it's WrestleMania week, so we got to talk about the WWE.
Oh, my God.
I know you got a lot to say about that, Al. On Nerd Radio. Next.